Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation! Good evening, and welcome back to Computerized Start Live, the show that if it started on time, I don't know what that would be. A miracle, probably. There's something always goes wrong. This time it was Windows. I blame Windows. Trina told me we'll just use DOS, which OBS doesn't run in DOS, but it would probably be more stable if it did. Yes, all right, let's see who we have in the chat already. I see that we have lots of folks. We have Everything is Broken Garage, Ryan, welcome. Dave's Vintage Apple Tech, Frank S. Trina's Technobabble, Trina, welcome. Thomas Armstrong, we are finally here. Live, yes. Let's see here. Pterodine, welcome. I believe that's the first time you've joined, or at least popped in the chat. Yes, OBS, I do sometimes feel like it means old broken software, or as Trina said, an annoying broken software. I like that, Trina. That kind of emphasizes how broken it can be sometime. Jeremy, welcome. Thomas Armstrong, OBS is government certified. Yes. And the chat likes to scroll while I'm trying to scroll the other direction. Garth, welcome. Retro Tech Chris, yes, you are right on time. Hey, Jeremiah, welcome. Yes. Jeremiah's. Now my schedule lined up. Yay. And yes, all right, I have said hi to everyone. So, let's see, I guess channel announcements. I guess if you have a surprise for the channel, I need to receive them by the 24th to make the next episode of Channel Surprise. I will be ordering the sync soon. Hopefully, maybe, so at least I'll have the sync in hand for said episode of Channel Surprise. That might be a miracle if Lowe's can actually get it to the local Lowe's store in time. And yes, as I showed off on Joe's stream last night while he was assembling Blue Scuzzies, I have another Trident video card on the way for one of my project computers. I was also watching Adrian's last episode. He uploaded it yesterday, but it was so long, I didn't have time to watch it yesterday, and I was kind of saying yes when he was telling everyone to not buy Trident video cards, because that just means for the rest of us, we'll have a cheap option, because everyone that watched that episode will go be buying everything else but. Although, granted, yeah, some of the Trident video cards really aren't that great, but the way he said it, it was like, all of them were awful, so don't buy them. And also, I don't think Adam's joined yet, but I must thank him for telling me about a new site to buy vintage stuff, because I picked up a beige case for 34 bucks shipped. Now if I could just get the AT plate for it in place of the ATX plate, because I don't want to pay like 100 and some plus shipping for the case on eBay that has the plate that would fit this other case. But yes, Garth, sometimes I will take the really slow video card. Although some of those Trident cards are actually not that bad. There are actually a few, I think there might be PCI ones, where Trident actually beat S3. But then I think S3 beat Trident very soon thereafter. But the one I've ordered for one of my project computers that's coming from Canada, and it was actually made in Canada, believe it or not, it actually should be a decent, reliable performer for the 386 I'm going to put it in. After all, sometimes when you have a slow computer, you don't need a slow video card. You just need a reliable one, unlike the last one that was in it. And finally, reason why a lot of you are here, I know, Macintosh has come early to the channel. So previously on Dave's Vintage Apple Tech, and then I realized I forgot to go actually look for the episode to clip the footage, I ultrasonically cleaned this board because I wasn't going to work on it right away. So when I zoom into this board and you see it and you're like, well, that board looks pretty good, that's because it's already been ultrasonically cleaned. Just so that the board didn't continue to eat itself in the meantime. So, going to recap that board. I am going to recap this power supply. I think I did figure out what the mystery smudge on the power switch is, and I believe it is nicotine or tobacco or something, because I got the faintest hint of cigarette smoke from this power supply. So I think I now know what the mystery smudge is, and I will be cleaning that off, hopefully. And if it doesn't come off, I'm replacing the switch. I will steal it from the power supply that I need to repair. 1-Bit Fever Dreams, welcome. Yes, get me to 1 million subscribers now so I can actually buy more beige cases. I want one with the little LED numbers on it that when you press the turbo button, the numbers change. And then I'm just going to sit there and I'm going to create a short, and that's all I'm going to do is just like swap the two speeds to show the numbers changing for a whole minute, because that's about as long as that silliness should go on. Yes, so yeah, I think this was a secondhand smoke computer. Oh, 1 zillion subscribers. Yes, I think I need to beat even Mr. Beast. All right, so we've got the LC power supply, or the power supply. We've got the LC power supply on the bench, but we're not working on that first. I think I'm going to do the logic board first. Just because there's capacitors near plastic and it scares me, so I'm just going to get it over with. Yes. Also, yes, that was one other thing. I will try to be on Dave's Vintage Apple Tech this weekend. I will definitely be much later than normal, but I am going to go meet one of my brothers, my sister-in-law, or I guess one of my sister-in-laws, and my parents for lunch. So I will be late. So yes, my brother and his wife are coming in for the weekend. They're going to one of their friends' weddings, and then my parents are driving up. So I'm going to drive over, and we're going to go meet for lunch. So if I get back to the house in time to join Dave's Vintage Apple Tech for a little while, I will be there, but I will definitely be late. So don't fret. Just know that I am actually, for once, going out to eat. All right, I'm going to hide that for now. Okay. Oh, yeah, I think I've seen those cases, Jeremy. Those are pretty neat. You can, yeah, remove the motherboard with the card still attached. No, the case I bought today for $34 shipped was definitely not one of those cases. But let's just say that as soon as I saw the price and saw that it was... Oh, the other thing is, it's a brand new case. I mean, they opened the box to take pictures of it, but the case has never been used, which is really nice. Actually, unusually nice. It's probably one of the last beige cases because the box is marked Pentium 4 all over the place, but hey, it is oh no, Retrotech Chris. I saw John Story's post 8 minutes after he posted it because I was at work and I was the third person to reply that I wanted it. So I missed it because he posted it while I was at work, and I saw it 8 minutes after he posted it. Because I think those other two people, well, they were probably on the ball, and I was at work. It's probably even a total coincidence that I managed to notice it 8 minutes after it was posted. but yeah. But yeah, John Story is in one of the Facebook groups. He posts a lot of good stuff at very reasonable prices, and he actually posted it was an ATX mini tower case, and it actually had the LED numbers on it. It was like about maybe early 486. Actually no, it was an AT case because it looked like early 486 era. It was an AT case, and it had the numbers on it. And yeah, I was 8 minutes. Well, Garth, I don't know if I want to give away my secret just yet, but I'll let you know on Joe's Discord. It's also the same site that Adam told me about last night. So I've actually already off that site, that's not eBay, bought a video card that I was looking for to trade with someone else for something they were. So they have a motherboard I want to trade for. They had a couple video cards they were looking for, and I snagged one of the ones that we're really looking for, really cheap. And then today I noticed that case. So yeah, John Story prices things really fairly. So all right, so I am going to first, because there are recapping guides for this board, I'm going to remove all the caps and then I'll replace them. But first, I do need to, there we go, find the tube of flux that actually has flux in it. Because I think this one is like out. Oh, and I need to put a little more Captain Tape to the rescue, because I just realized that that plastic there is really close to the edge. Oh, I don't think Adam no, Adam just mentioned the site on Joe's stream. So yeah, you can you can go watch Joe's stream, or you can be on Joe's Discord, or I'll probably eventually spill the beans at some point. I mean, it's not like it's a secret shopping site or anything. It's I think it's one of those app-based shopping sites or something. But it's not eBay. And also, I don't know why I'm being secretive, because it seems like stuff gets posted all the time. And in fact, I had to restrain myself. I almost bought a Mac Pro, but then I realized, no, I shouldn't buy that Mac Pro. As much as it would have been nice to have a 2013 Mac Pro with the dual D500 graphics cards, but oh yeah, I can send you a link on the Discord. So anyways, let's zoom into this. So yes, I am. Oh, well, the reason why it's so secret, Garth, is I want to find one of the Apple IIs that Adam's finding on the site all the time that gets misdescribed so people don't find it, and I snag it for, like, cheap. Then I'll give up what it is. I mean, the thing is, I think they advertise online. It's not really that secret. Oh, you know what also is also not a secret? If you have your hot air gun set to 100 degrees Celsius, capacitors off the board you will not be getting. There we go. I was wondering why in the world that A, my hand wasn't getting warm, and B, this capacitor was not coming off, and C, the flux was not bubbling. So yes, I do still have my coffee goal for the month, because while I have reached the point of getting a sink, I have a few things I want to get that, well, if I pay shipping, then they will come my way. And some of them might actually be in beige cases too. Which, speaking of that, Jeremy, if you do get to the point where you have one of those boxed up and you want me to see what it'll cost me to send you a shipping label, go for it. The boxes I sent you yesterday, which should be on their way, I was pleasantly surprised at how little UPS wanted for shipping that 2C back to you. Although, granted, that was only a 14-pound box. But UPS does charge dimensional weight. So, oh yes, I also kind of would like to get a Naboo and join the Naboo crowd, because apparently that's the cool hip new thing from all the way from Ottawa, Canada. I hope I got the province right. That is getting lots of cool things. At least until the next hip cool thing that Adrian Black shows on his YouTube channel, and that blows up the seller's eBay page. And I'm actually surprised that capacitor popped, because I pretty much thought all these had wrecking fee. UPS charges dimensional weight. Actually, I think FedEx does too, but UPS is like really a stickler for dimensional weight. Basically, if you've got a large, lightweight box, you're going to pay for like some minimum charge based on the like volume of the box. So even though that box I sent Jeremy was 14 pounds, I think it dimensionally weighed a little more than that. So yeah, UPS is like, has always been like the carrier in the US where it's the easiest to start getting dimensional weight charges. FedEx does it too. And then the USPS doesn't really charge dimensional weight unless like you've got a like really absurdly sized package. So I sent Jeremy 2 boxes. So if he's wondering why I sent the second one USPS, it's because they don't charge dimensional weight. And it was relatively light. So it was actually cheaper to send it priority mail than it was UPS. Plus, I got to use the priority mail box. So I didn't even have to spare one of my own boxes. What a deal. They don't charge dimensional weight for something for their mailing boxes because they're not oversized. You get the box for free. And yeah. So hopefully those will arrive safely I think early next week, Jeremy, and then after that, you'll be able to actually have your Apple IIc on Dave's stream. Uh-oh, Retro Techie's in a work meeting. It's probably like a, let me see here. If I had to rate them, Jeremy, the monitor is probably like a 10. Because I can always make use of a nice Apple monochrome monitor. Because you don't have to plug it into an Apple, but monochrome monitors can be nice for vintage computers. Because I think that monochrome monitor is just a monochrome composite monitor. So I'd say that one's the 10. I forget what the... and then you had the Pentium 4, so that actually would probably be the... would be the next in line. I'd probably rate that one as a solid 8, and then the AST would probably be like about a 6. That would be the order I would rank them in. So, anyways, yes, I am. Will be glad to see when you get your Apple IIc back, Jeremy, and along with the other stuff that that is in the packages for you. Oh, and then the IBM Pentium 90. Yeah, the Pentium 90 would be... Yeah, the Pentium 90 would probably actually fall between the AST and the Pentium 4. Oh, one other thing, Jeremy, the packing materials I've packed the Apple IIc in, I will not be offended if they come back to me in some way, shape, or form as packing material for something else, because I know the I had to use one of the love it or hate it packing materials just because I would have gone through so many rolls of bubble wrap. Otherwise, it would have been expensive. Yeah, I think Ryan might have just figured out. I think Ryan, either he's laughing at something else or he knows exactly what the packing material is. Oh, the compact Pentium 3 and the AMD 64 case. Oh yeah. Oh wow, I had okay, I think the Pentium 3 would probably be below the AST. Pentium, but Pentium 4. Yeah, if I've gotten computers mixed up, you might just have to send me a quick Twitter reminder of what they all are, and I'll rank them. But yeah, I think top to bottom it would be the Apple composite monitor, the oh, hey Adam. So Adam recently received some new artwork. You know, there's some people that would take pictures of Reefa caps Adam's artwork has reefa caps. You know, Adam, I was pondering why someone would have basically framed their Bell and Howell. And all I could think of is that that was their first Apple II or something. And they couldn't bear to part with it, so they framed it and I guess hung it on a wall. Oh, Adam dismantled the artwork. Bummer. Well, I guess if Adam's going to give away, it's Mercari. Okay, I'll give it up. I was hoping to manage to snag the Apple II with the misspelled name before anyone else, but... I'm not going to give all my search secrets away on Mercari, but... Yeah, reefa candles. Anyways, Adam, I've managed to buy snag a video card and a case for a computer, and I paid less than eBay prices for both. In fact, in some cases, way less. No, I'm not sure I want the Apple II with all the missing keys because it given how many keys are missing on that Apple II and how I think at least half the missing keys, the key stems are like broken too. Okay, someone's going to have to spell it because I would have to pull my phone out to spell it. And I've already dropped my phone once today. And normally I wouldn't mind, but it seems like these days, every time I drop my phone, I'm breaking the screen protector. So actually, I ordered screen protectors this morning, like 10 minutes after dropping the phone, because there's a little chip on the side of the screen protector. I don't know if it's because I'm just buying really cheap glass screen protectors, or yeah, or what, but... So yeah, so I ordered yet more screen protectors. Well, at least the one good thing is as long as we don't tell Adrian Black, we're probably fine. Just don't tell him about that site. Of course, it seems like he gets enough stuff. People send him enough stuff. He probably doesn't need to go shopping for anything. But yeah, let's not tell him about this site because then we'll never be able to afford anything vintage on it. Unless you can convince him that the only thing that sells on it vintage-wise is like Trident video cards. Because boy, yeah, he roasted Trident video cards in his last video. And I'm just thinking, you know, there's a lot of people that's what they had in their computer. They had a Trident video card. For whatever reason, they either they couldn't afford the Hercules or the Cirrus Logic or the whatever, and well, they got a Trident. Now, I will give him one thing though. His comment about that that 3D accelerator that was in the box was spot on. Those were absolute garbage. Yeah, those 3D Image Trident cards, those were garbage. So Adrian's comment on that was spot on. I'll give him that one. But some of their 2D accelerators actually were pretty good. I mean, fastest, no. Decent, yeah. Yeah. Also, I think Adrian made a comment about the first card he pulls out of the box was one of those Trident TVGA 9000s. And I kept thinking to myself, well, good, then that means we'll be able to still afford those video cards because a lot of them support 8-bit slots. Even though they're 16-bit cards. Yeah, yeah, Trident chewing gum's awful. Oh, good one, Ryan. I just saw your comment. Hello, and welcome back to Everything is Broken Garage. On this episode, I'm going to pull off my mask and reveal that I'm Adrian Black. I've been in Canada the whole time. And yes, everything in my garage is broken. Yeah. So, yeah, so anyways, yes, I'm actually not sure which case which computer I'll put in the beige case. Oh, it's brand new. Yeah. I actually did have the thought of moving the Pentium 3 to it, and hey, Sean! Oh, wait a minute. Okay, though, Chris, I'm going to try not to, buy all the retro stuff before we meet up next month. But, I mean, $34 new open box beige case, I couldn't pass that one up. I may opt not to use the power supply, but at least not without inspecting it, because I don't know that it was a great quality power supply that was in it, but I mean, it looks like it was never used, and the case even has a spot for a case badge on it, so actually, if you know, if you would like to recommend a Geekenspiel case badge, then you can put those in the chat. I kind of actually was thinking that I might like the InGen one. That, you know, the from Jurassic Park. At least until I can have some made that reproduces the logo for the computer shop I worked at in Roanoke. Because actually I would kind of like to do that. Then that's actually the one that I would put on one of my computers. So I mean, I don't remember exactly which font I used, but I can probably recreate it close enough. You're right, though, Ryan. Yeah, Jurassic Park used Max. All right, I think this capacitor is going to pop. Or not. Actually, no. I just realized this is the audio section. These capacitors probably won't pop because they've all leaked. It's like ABC gum, except it's already been ABL capacitor's already been leaked. Ooh, a Federation logo. Yeah, that could yeah, one of these is going to pop. Even though these are the audio section, and the audio section was like the worst leaked part, yeah, one of these will still manage to pop. And Actually, though, Thomas, it does not smell like fish. Jeremy! Now we have more than one Jeremy. And Francois! Welcome! Oh yeah, Ryan. Yeah, I missed the flux question. And by missed it, I saw it and then it promptly left my brain. Yeah, hold on 1 second. Let me get these two caps off, and then I'll pull the bottle over here. But it's Amtech Flux. It's actually not the V3. And actually, you know, I don't know that I've actually consistently used the same Amtech Flux. There we go. So the flux that I am presently using is NC559 ASM-TF. So I think this is one that Bruce mentioned in a video. Which video, I don't know, but that's one he mentioned in a video. Now, I did start off, though, if you're thinking, wait a minute, weren't you using a different one to start off with? Yeah, I finished off, like, the last little bit of sample 88 that was in this tube. There was, like, a little bit, I didn't want to waste it. I don't really like this V3. It's, like, I find it's hard. I mean, it works, but it's also harder to clean off the board. So I'm like, it's kind of one of those, the cleaning time just, yeah, not quite as much of a fan of that. So anyways, let me make sure I got all the surface mounts off. So, yep. Wait a minute. Francois, yep. Thomas B, welcome. Yeah, we got multi-Thomases and multi-Jeremys. And even a, few, actually, I was thinking there might be another person that there's more than one of. Yes, Geek and Spiel makes awesome case badges. So, I know this LC3 will be making an appearance in Macintosh too, don't you worry. Other than, well, I just realized I forgot to do something, so, oh well. Moving on. Oh yes, I have a multimeter. Yes, I have a multimeter. It's the, you'll never guess. You'll never guess. Actually, you will never guess, because it's not a Kaiweets. It's an X-Tech. I also have a Fluke. Someone might have actually guessed that. Nothing against the Kaiweets. I already had an X-Tech, and it works. So anyways, this LC3 here, I bought off eBay, the place where I buy everything I later regret. I was actually going to make the thumbnail a clickbait based on the fact that there's a dead bug on the board. And I am pointing at it. You're thinking, ew, gross, a dead bug, but I think that's what they call this mod, because the chip is on upside down. But yeah. It's a dead bug mod. So whoever designed this logic board must have had a bad day, because they had to put a dead bug mod on it, and luckily the mod has I've got pictures of it in case the wires come off, but I don't know what it's doing. I don't know what chip that is because it's glued down, but that is a done, Ryan. Oh, well, I wasn't going to overclock this model anyways. This one was going to be my stock LC2. Yeah, but actually the one thing is, though, whoever owned this actually put an FPU in it. Because I did not do this. I think this is actually... Yeah, this is... I can prove that it's actually a vintage upgrade, because there's the date code, 9320. So someone... quite possibly right after they bought it, in fact, because these chips are like late 92. They might have bought this computer and put an FPU in it right away. So let me double check. That is the correct flux. I don't recognize the seller, though. That might be someone that buys the flux and then buys it in bulk and repackages it. I don't know. However, you might check. Hold on. Let me post a link to Amtech's actual website, and you can see what they might charge to ship to Canada. NC 559 ASMTF. Let me see here. Although now that I say that, you know, it might be a bit expensive because it's chemicals, but it might be cheaper than what that other seller in the... it also could be. So you might check Amtech's website to see if they maybe have a... Oh, they've got an authorized resellers. And that company's not listed. Anyways. Yeah, I think the real AMT ships to Canada. So I'm not saying don't use the reseller on Amazon's website, but there are companies that sell fake Amtech. But there are also companies that they buy it in bulk and repackage it into smaller containers. So I can't say which one that is. Also, I think when Bruce orders Amtech, I think he orders it from the States. He buys a couple tubes of it or whatnot to make it worth the shipping. So, yeah, Jeremy, though, you're right. When someone says authorized reseller, I think of Amway too, or someone like that. So, oh. So, anyways, I think my LCs will hopefully make some content this Macintosh to spoil kind of spoilers. So I've got an LC, and my LC hates pretty much everything but my Apple IIe card. It's like everything else, anything else I put in the PDS slot, and it complains. All right, well, see you later, Sean. But I have something from Garth that might help me get my LC until it isn't so hateful towards other cards. Hey, DJ Craze. No, looks like I have not managed to make it soup yet, although I should probably add a bit more flux before I clean these pads off. And then I have an LC2, and it has an upgrade in it that I can't really say much more about it, because I haven't seen any public announcements about it. So hopefully that's publicly announced soon so I can actually check it out on a video. And then I've got the LC3 that I'm recapping here. And then I've got an LC4 that will, well, I've got a special upgrade for it. And you can get one of those special upgrades too at jcm-1.com or one of the other fine Blue Scuzzy resellers. And if they're out of stock, they'll hopefully be getting it soon. And that would be the Blue Scuzzy V2. Plus a few other special upgrades. But I think the LC475 is the computer that I got that came the farthest distance. So, Ryan, you got me. Yeah, it's the super secret googly eye upgrade. You put the card in and it googly eyes everything. Oh, and I slightly melted the Scuzzy connector. Oh well, it's not too bad. Anyways, hi Jay. All right, we are going to get, and then maybe, just maybe, if I'm lucky, maybe I'll have yet another Mac that will make its way back to, until I can make a video about it. So, anyways. And Rudy's here. Wow. This is totally crazy. You have Macintoshes on your stream and it just like everyone's on. In fact, it looks like I got 18 concurrent viewers. Wow. So yeah, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you aren't already because Macintosh is coming. Macintosh is coming soon. All right, let me pull up the recapping guide. Yeah, we need more likes on this video because there's 18 concurrent viewers and the number of likes is blocked on my screen because I have OBS in front of it so I can make sure I'm on screen. So smash that like button. And I think this Mac's recapping guide is on Bruce's website. There we go, LC3. And yes, all right, so it looks like this one's actually fairly simple. Yes, Jay. that would probably be just as good as time as any to get that board fixed. And Retro Techie's here. And boy, oh boy, I've got a I'm actually going to take these old SMT caps and I'm going to stick them in this bag, and then they're just going to sit off to the side for an appropriate moment. Bruce! Speak of the recapamac.com.au person. It's like Bruce knew I was about to drop the recapping guide. Yes, I am using Bruce's recapping guide, and I am using a capacitor kit from Console 5 because that was easier. So there are a total of 11 capacitors that I need to put back on the board. Although first, let me just double check that I removed 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, I removed 11. So I will have 11 to put back. There are 3 different values. There should be one 100 microfarad. So, all right, I've got one of those. Should have 5 10 microfarad, 16 volt. And I can't read the printing on that without a microscope. But these are clearly the 47s. So those look like the 47s. So these must be the 10s. And actually, I think that checks out because, yeah, the 10s are smaller pads than the 47s. All right. And also, I think this is fairly easy because the 10s are these 4 here, and then the one by the dead bug. Oh, and I just realized that's the one pad I forgot to clean, because there's still flux there. So let me clean that off real quick. The 100 is the one that is by the SCSI port, and since it's like the one that there's just one of, I'm going to actually go ahead and get it first. And then the 47s are the other 5. Yes. Actually, Bruce, the really cool thing about this board, take a look at the date code of this FPU. 20th week of 93. And then if you look at the date codes of all the other chips. So there's 46th week of 92. 50th week of 92. I don't see a date code on that. There's the VLSI chip, 49th week of 92. MT RAM chips that I'll probably regret someday. 52nd week of 92. I think the person that bought this computer upgraded their LC III with an FPU like right when they got it. And I think that's their original upgrade FPU, which is really cool. Hey, Sean. Now, I believe we have 3 Sean, oh, wait, that's right. And Steve. It's like we have the whole Mac crew. All right. So I thought that was pretty cool that it had the FPU, and it looks like it's one that they installed like almost when they got the computer. To which I would love to tell you what was on the hard drive that might have been using the FPU to see if they were actually running software that actually could use it versus some salesman convinced them to buy the upgrade and they didn't need it. But unfortunately, the FPU was removed. So I can't tell you if they actually needed it. But apparently they got it. Yeah, I don't know if maybe Apple offered that as an upgrade option, or... I mean, given the date code, it kind of looks like it might have been installed post-purchase because the date code is so much later. And also, I would have kind of expected that if it was a factory upgrade option, that maybe it would have just been soldered and they would have saved themselves the 2 cents of a socket. But then again, maybe... Then again, maybe they were just out of FPUs and they put the socket on it and then installed it when they got them, but... Whoops. You know, and that was almost... All right, let's try... Okay, we're going to try that again. Because that was almost a lovely placement, and then Then my soldering iron slipped, or my tweezers slipped. All right, let's try that again. You know, the only one that seems to be missing in the chat now is Joe. It's like Joe is probably off building blue scuzzies, which is probably why he's not in the chat. He might be there. Maybe he's watching and building blue scuzzies, but if he's building blue scuzzies, he's probably not chatting. And... well, I don't know what would happen, but something probably wouldn't work. And since I think that's going to the... potentially or at least what I think might be the egret chip, it might be something important wouldn't work. But I'm sure someone in the chat will probably correct me that that's not, no, that's not the egret chip, but it's the discombobulator chip, or the something or other. Oh, okay. I try to get these straight and square, and there we go. Actually, that's not too bad. It's got a little bit of a tilt, but... all right. Oh, that is the egret. Okay. So I think if you would remove the dead bug mod, this would be the regret chip. DJ Craze was thinking along the same lines. Yes. So now that I have... oh, wait. My concurrent viewers count is not updating. I probably have a lot of concurrent viewers. So I will... I guess since we've been going for about an hour. I do have my coffee goal going. I know there are a few things that will probably go towards getting for Macintosh. But I removed the goal update from the screen because it blocks the view, but I have the alert still turned on, so we will get the alert. I just can't see where the goal is right now, but links in the description. I have a few other things I would like to do for Macintosh. If I remember to place the Tindy order. Because one of the items I want to try to fix something will be coming from the UK. I know. Well, all I can think of as to why I'm only at 221 subscribers is because people aren't smashing that like button or smashing that subscribe button. So yes, please share my channel. I am going to announce the a subscriber giveaway soon. I just need to check with someone about what I want to give away first. I'm going to give away Retro Techies something or other. Just kidding. No, I've got something that I think folks will hopefully be excited about the chance to win. I mean, it's not. I don't have any Raspberry Pis I can give away, but we'll see. I got to check with someone first. And I haven't seen them in the chat, so I can't put them on the spot. But I don't want to put them on the spot. So even if they do appear in the chat, the most I'll do is say, I've got a question for you. Remind me if I forget to ask. And yeah, maybe I will do a short to announce the giveaway. Maybe. But I may do a long video just because of, like, everything you have to say on YouTube to cover your rear end when you do a giveaway. I did have an idea for a short, though. A Zenith XT clone giveaway. There you go! Ryan is graciously offering a... No, I couldn't do that to you, Ryan. No, the Zenith XT clone giveaway that I'm getting from you will be added to the collection of misfit computers. And by misfit computers, I mean there's seemingly no pattern to what's in the collection. The only thing that there's a pattern on are the 4 LCs that are in my collection, because they're the 4 pizza box LCs. Everything else, it's like, so Justin's got 2 Emerson computers, a Zenith, a Pentium 3 that he put together with a bunch of parts. Also, if anyone's wondering why I don't haven't, I know one thing I've been saying I'd like to start doing is maybe repairing LCs for other people, but the one reason I haven't, like, really done it for sure is I wanted to be able to at least recap at least one of each of them to get a feel for them. And the other thing is I really need to practice more on getting these capacitors straight because maybe I'm just too picky on how square they are with the silk screen, but I mean, that being said, though, if you did have one that you wanted me to work on, you can reach out to me. Just DM me and we might work something out. But yeah, Retro Techie blew past 400. He's been doing all those shorts of how to remove batteries from various Macs. Yeah, the LC2 is the worst. I'm with you, Bruce. 17 caps, and a bunch of them are like near lots of plastic. In fact, I think on the LC2, this is like a really bad part of the board to work on the LC2 because there's like a whole bunch of electrolytics. Because at least on the LC3, I think Apple went to some tantalums here. But yeah, this is like a really difficult to work on section of the LC3. It's not too bad, or LC2. The LC3, it's not quite as bad. Although there's still plenty of plastic contending for meltage. But yes, Ryan, I think for the Zenith, I have a special video card to put in it. Assuming I don't build another one. Oh, that reminds me, I think I need to... No, I'm slowly putting caps on the logic board. I mean, it's going relatively smoothly. These are ceramic tip tweezers. I'll have to look up the Amazon part number. I got them on recommendation of a coworker. So the one nice thing about them is they don't conduct heat. So you can use them to hold on to whatever you're trying to solder, and they're not wicking away heat. They're not the grippiest though, but there we go. All right, there we go. You know, Well, I'll... All right. Oh, yay, that one's really fun. Come on, solder. Did I actually... There we go. Alright, let's see here. Okay. Let me double check those real quick. Oh, I'm going to put this video card in the Zenith. Because this is the one that Thomas Armstrong sent me and I put together. So I think it's only appropriate that I put one of my Canadian, in a way, video cards in an XT computer I get from Canada. Because actually, I've inserted that enough times into slots that I pretty much, I think I need to park that card in a slot and leave it and build another one for putting into computers to test. So yeah, that's probably the video card I'll put in it, just so it can be in an appropriate spot. And because if I insert it too many more times in a slot, I'm gonna wear through the fact that that board was a it has lead on the connectors, or leaded solder on the connectors and not copper, so it just needs to like be inserted somewhere and stay before I just wear through the solder on the edge connector. Yeah. Yeah, that was actually a pretty cool. So yeah, he sent me the PCB. He put most of the components on it, flashed the BIOS for me. The only thing I had to do was get a video, one of the video chips. So, which was a deal, because, and yeah, it's really cool. Hold on. Just noticed something on this board, and I want to take a look at it. Okay, well, further investigation is going to be required when I get down to the... Oh, wait a minute. That was wrong. Hold on. I put the... I looked at the thing wrong. That is not where the 100... microfarad cap goes. So if someone was screaming that in the chat, sorry, I didn't see it. But yeah, I just realized that is not... That is not the correct cap. So I will get yet another opportunity to put the cap that goes here on a little more square. Because this is just one of the 47s. Because the 100 microfarad actually was supposed to go here. Oh, cool. Well, then that's, I think that your FPU might actually predate when they launched the LC3. Maybe someone already had it and moved it to their LC3. Or maybe it was just dealer had some old stock. All right, so this cap actually goes here. There we go. Night, Trina. Yeah, I don't think anyone noticed my mistake. Well, at least I did before I powered it up. I mean, I don't know if that would have been the worst mistake. Would have probably made the audio sound I think that's one of the audio caps. The audio might have sounded weird. The SCSI bus would have been well capacitated. So, all right, so this is one of the 47s, and then one of them's down near the SCSI connector that I slightly melted. Not too bad. And then the other three are by the power connector and SIM slots, which I actually need to check a trace down in that area of the board. Thomas B says, yeah, if I'd left that cap there, it would have turned into a G5. Yes, can you imagine if Apple had continued the LC pizza box line well into the Power series? Apple introducing the G5 LC. G5 Power LC pizza box sized. Warning, do not put more than a 17-inch monitor on top or it will go critical. Also, it would have a caution hot sticker on it. Not because Apple wanted to put it there, but because the government required them to put it there. Yeah, and maybe it's kind of good that as the processors got a little faster, they did give themselves a little bit more case size for the... Well, I guess they just called them Performas at that point. Yeah. The Macintosh LC G5. Bake a pizza while playing your education software titles. New from Pizza Hut, the Book It personal pan pizza delivery system. It'll just appear on your LC when you've read your 5 books or whatever. Adam says he's found an ad on Facebook where someone is trying to sell a Power Mac G30. Yeah. Let me guess, they forgot to put rare prototype Steve Jobs in the title. I mean, I almost got one. Well, actually, I didn't respond fast enough, unfortunately, because I was at work the other day. But I'd saw someone listed a G3 iMac, but they listed it as an Apple monitor because they thought it was just a monitor, I guess. Apparently, I was second in line. And the first person must have picked it up because the seller never let me, never said anything about, well, they didn't claim it, so it's yours. I mean, it would have been nice to have, and they only wanted $30 for it, which I wasn't going to be picky as to which color it was at that point. I don't think it was one of the particularly rare colors. Anyways, there's the trace I need to look at. All right, Jeremy says he can't believe this item is still for sale. Well, depending on what it is, I could probably believe it. WordPress. Well, Jeremy, I could tell you exactly why it's still for sale. Because with one photo and what looks like they're selling a keyboard on top of a box, no wonder they haven't sold their word processor. I mean, I can't even tell from that whether what you're going to get. Okay, well, it looks like all right, so it looks like the trace, which yeah, I guess that is serious. That was also another probably reason why it hasn't sold. It's local pickup only. Depending on where they are, is someone going to want to drive to where they are to see that all they're selling is a keyboard and a Dell box that actually looks like a monitor, not a computer box? Yeah, Adam doesn't want it. Retrotech Chris doesn't want it. Yeah, Adam doesn't want it. It says Dell. Chris doesn't want it. It doesn't say Compact. Compact LTE, or whatever the series is. Oh, they're in Detroit too. Yeah, see, list of places I'm not driving just to go get a word processor. Number 1, Detroit. Number 2, anywhere further than 3 houses down the street. Wait a minute. Well, according to Bruce's recapping guide, it looks like he's put the plus where Apple has the plus on his drawing. Which is confusing if it's silkscreened wrong. All right. Well, I didn't even think to check to see if that was. Oh, you know, it does help that when you're trying to listen for the beep-de-beeps of the multimeter. Okay, so that's -5. Yeah, that sure is on back. So I actually need to. Okay. So Bruce's guide follows the silk screen. Therefore, I need to not. Oh, well, first I need to actually put some new solder mask down. Now that I double checked that the. That the trace is good. Basically, it looked like there was some corrosion underneath the solder mask. And there might have been some leakage that got in under there and was starting to do something, but it looks like it was just, yeah. Yeah, I need to put the positive side of that cap on the ground pad because that's -5 volts. The positive side of the cap needs to be on the... Yeah, it goes, yeah, the positive side of that cap needs to go on the highest voltage side of the capacitor. So yeah, I need to put the capacitor on backwards from what the silkscreen says. Please correct me in the chat if I am wrong on that, but yeah. So I need to actually put the positive side of that capacitor opposite the silkscreen, because that's the negative voltage rail. Well, I don't want that tantalum capacitor to create a crater in the board there. I mean, granted, I think it's since I think it's a 16-volt cap, I think it would be not as likely to create a crater if it decided to go pop, but... All right, I do want to replace the solder mask here. So let me do just a little bit more cleanup there. Oh. Wait, though, if I put the capacitor on the opposite way, though, then it's not going to cause damage. It would actually, the capacitor would actually be correct. I'll have one of the few LCs that got corrected. And also, given the fact there's a dead bug mod on this board, I totally see how the person that did the silk screen would have missed the silk screen. So apparently they were having a bad week. And I guess they must have finally incorporated that fix into the board, or maybe the fix is actually in later egress. No, that doesn't make sense. I don't know. Maybe this is a mod that turned out not to be necessary, for all I know. I mean, there are some other things that they did on some of these LCs and then stopped doing, like the infamous 2200 microfarad capacitor on through hole in the one spot. So, all right, let me put a little UV solder mask down on the board. And then I'll pull out the not a nail curing station. And I'll actually, luckily, we'll be able to get the UV lights in the proper place on this board. All right, let me see if I can also not get green solder mask everywhere. And also not put it on so thick that it takes forever to cure. And really, I'm doing this more to keep it from corroding, because I don't need to go all the way to that pad. I don't want to cover it. I'll probably just put a wee little bit of solder on that very end there, just to make sure that doesn't tarnish. But anyways, there we go. Just a, 'tis but a flesh wound, or a scratch. 'Tis but a scratch. There we go. Yeah, apparently there is a reversed capacitor from the factory. So not only did these things have spindler plastic that will break if you look at it wrong, the capacitor on the negative 5-volt rail, the silkscreen's backwards. And apparently the electrolytic that was there is also backwards. We'll let that UV cure. I do know that the light is over top the solder mask, so unlike last time I pulled this thing out and was waiting forever and it not curing, and only to realize that the solder mask was actually underneath this part of it where there's no UV light. I think that might have been on Dave's stream. Might have been on mine. I don't know. I do know that the light is over the solder mask, so it should cure quickly. Well, I think Bruce is saying that they all went out that way. Apple actually put the electrolytic that was there on backwards. And apparently that really didn't cause any harm. I don't know that there's really much on the negative 5-volt rail on these LCs. It might just be the audio amplifier. Because I know a lot of audio amplifiers use a the negative 5-volt or negative 12-volt, just the way the amplifier works. So yeah, the LC3 is plastic. The top actually has a crack by the floppy drive. Hey, Retro Tech or Die. I might actually try to find a replacement LC3 lid, although that's no guarantee it'll be any more sturdy. But yeah, my LC475 is like falling apart faster than you can say spindler. Spindler! Yeah, my LC case is good. My LC2's case is good. I probably just jinxed them. The LC3 case is starting to crack by the floppy drive on that front corner. I think someone might have actually impacted that corner at some point. It's also yellowed, pretty yellowed. And it's probably both from plastic yellowing and nicotine. So it's probably, when I actually clean the case, it's probably going to be really gross. Yeah, the LC475's case is so bad. I bought a spare LC2 case off eBay because I got it's actually about, the LC475's case bottom is about to fall apart in a way where it's pretty much not salvageable. Spindler had to take a spin as CEO, yeah. He must have thrown away the note that was on the desk that said, "Do not fold, spindle, or mutilate," because he thought it was someone making fun of his name. In reality, it was warning the CEO to not make the plastic so cheap that the computers fell apart. And, well, look what we got. All right, bye, Rudy. All right. Hopefully just another minute or two and this solder mask will be cured. Actually, let me check it. Okay, let me let it go just a little bit more, just to make sure it's cured. And then we'll have 3 caps to go. And then I'll do the power supply. And then I'll test it. And it's looking like I'll at least be able to get that far, assuming I don't do something stupid to the power supply. Unlike last time I recapped the TDK power supply and forgot to resolder back 2 component legs that I forgot that I accidentally desoldered and blew the MOSFET. Although, in reality, the MOSFET might have been on its way out anyways. I'm not totally convinced that what I did alone was the sole cause of the MOSFET dying, but it might have been. Although the good thing is I do at least have a few of the replacement MOSFET on hand. The bad thing is the replacement MOSFET I identified is now like out of stock, long lead time at Mauser, so. All right. So I am going to put these on in the way that will hopefully be the easiest. I think it will be easiest to get, well, it will be easiest if I put flux on the pads. I think the easiest will be to get that pad there first and get that one out of the way, because I can move the cap to a point where I can actually get the soldering iron in. And then well, actually, all right. Okay, I think actually that one I'm going to have to, I think, do that. Because I don't think I can get the tip on the right way to... All right. All right, did I get that soldered? Yeah, okay. Looks like it's on there. All right. Yeah, don't... Yeah, I should have probably rotated the board. But we're good now. Honestly, I should have probably just pulled that closer to me and not tried to show it on camera. In fact, if I'd said, oh, look, squirrels, half of you would be trying to figure out where the squirrels were and not realize that I'd moved the board out of the camera view, so... The other half of you would have been saying, that's lame in the chat. I don't see any squirrels. And then there would be that one person where there actually would be like a squirrel like on their roof driving them nuts, and they'd be saying in the chat, well, how'd you know there was a squirrel on my roof driving me nuts? There we go. All right, so let me take a look at this board. Just double check things. So let's see here. Actually, I think I'm gonna have to do this because I can't see the stripes. I need to get some more isopropyl alcohol. Wait. Oh. Okay. I still have a little bit more. I do need to order some, though. So I usually get the 91%. Well, I like to get stronger, but as of late, I've just had to settle for the 91%. And Walmart.com seems to most reliably keep it in stock. My local Walmart, not so much. It's like one of the few things I will make a special trip to Walmart to try to get, although in this case I'll just probably order it from Walmart.com and be done with it. And then I'll be able to refill this bottle. I mean, I guess I could order some 99% from Amazon, but considering I usually, at least for boards like this, I usually put them through the ultrasonic cleaner eventually, the 91% seems to work just fine, because then the ultrasonic will get whatever the 91 doesn't. All right. Dana! Hey, Dana, welcome. All right, I'm trying to get a little flux off these capacitors so I can double check the orientation. Make sure I got them on correct. Now, yeah, you can kind of tell I did kind of slightly melt the SCSI connector. Oh well. But it's probably so minor, I could probably take my utility knife and possibly make it look better and possibly end up... Oh, you know, the UV solder mask that I attempted to cure didn't cure. Interesting. That's really weird. I sure thought I think I need to get new UV solder mask. It appears as if my it might have expired because I thought it cured in like one of those nail drying things in like 10 minutes. All right, well. Okay, I think here's what I'll do. So let me dry this board off, and then I'll put some more of the solder mask on, and then I'll just let this thing sit under that UV light to the side while I work on the power supply. And that'll teach it. I mean, I could also maybe just put solder on this, but I thought it would be nice to put solder mask on it so it at least looked halfway decently, and also to keep it from shorting should you like accidentally drop something metal there while it's powered on, for if you're doing something that's not advised, like, oh, well, I guess I got solder mask on the tantalum capacitor. Oh, you know, I think I know why it didn't cure. I think what I didn't realize is there's a bunch of isopropyl alcohol underneath the power connector. So let me encourage that to dry, and then I think I can... So this is just set to 100 degrees C. Should be enough to... It's as cool as I can set this. I'm just trying to mainly try to promote that isopropyl alcohol to evaporate, keeping the air moving so I don't melt plastic. It's also possible I may just end up ultrasonically cleaning and then putting solder mask on it once the board is clean and dry. Yeah, I might have to do that because it looks like a... Yeah, that's not... Okay, so I guess what I'm going to do is I'll ultrasonically clean this board. And then I'll put solder mask on it after I've dried it. Although I am going to do one thing because I'm not happy with the way this one capacitor looks. And I'm going to do the, oh look, squirrels were out. It's the one right by this RAM socket. So I'm going to... There we go, that looks better. I just didn't like the way the solder joint looked. It looks better now. All right. Yeah, the board looks moist. I'm going to, I think actually I'm just going to, let's see, if I put this in the ultrasonic cleaner now, I would not be able to test it on stream. All right, I will just let this dry off to the side and hopefully it evaporates. All right. Well, let's get to this power supply here, which is surely going to be tasty. Well, I don't want to put that in the oven to dry it until I run it through the ultrasonic cleaner. Just because I don't see any need to do that twice. All right, so first I gotta find the screwdriver that should be on my workbench somewhere. But that probably ran away. Ran away. Maybe someday Apple will come out with the AirTags. That's a bad idea. AirTags for your tools so that you can't lose them on your workbench, but we can't have nice things because someone would abuse those and then Apple would have to recall them. Well, I guess the one thing I can do before I probably will have to go upstairs and see that I've managed to carry both screwdrivers upstairs, despite like trying to keep at least one of them downstairs. Well, let's see if this power switch cleans up. Wow, that's some I might have a Ethernet card for the PDS slot. Call me silly though, but I don't like to use the ones that have FPU sockets in computers that have FPU sockets. It seems silly. It's like the Department of Government Redundancy Department. Yeah, this is pretty gross. It's also coming off, which is good. Tomorrow's trash day, which is also good because the paper towels I used to wipe that down, I think I just want to get them well away from my house because I don't know what that is. I might be tobacco. It might be other things. On the one hand, I thought this might have been used at an auto repair shop, although I don't know why they would have used a Mac, because I don't know of any auto repair shop software that runs on a Mac, unless they were using it for accounting. But I don't know that accounting software is FPU intensive, but maybe it is, because I guess money is in floating point numbers, but I don't know. Hey, look at that power switch. I think I could actually use that now without having to put gloves on every time I want to power it on. Oh! Thomas B thinks that the mod might have something to do with the machine ID. You know, that might actually be. maybe the, because I know there's some of the LCs, I think, that got to a point where they just kind of report themselves as being a generic computer. Maybe that's the mod to make sure it reports that it's an LC3. All right, I'm trying to find the screwdriver that I thought I have somewhere around here. Oh, I got a little battery-powered one. Maybe I've got batteries I can put in it. There's one. Of course, it takes 2 AAA batteries, and I have 1 AAA battery. Yes, it would appear as if all of... No, I can't have... They can't all be upstairs. Hold on. I think I've got a backup screwdriver. Yeah, okay. I think I got one that'll work. So, I placed an order with Circuit Specialists at one point, and I noticed they had a bunch of these like screwdriver pins on sale for like some cheap price. So I ordered like three of them because I thought the quantity was each, but apparently for my like, I don't know, I think they were like 99 cents. I got 10 of them. So I don't know if they made a mistake when they packed my order, or if they really were selling so slowly that they were like, all right, don't bother breaking these packages down, just like ship them. Ah, there we go. All right, crisis averted. I don't know where the screwdriver I was really looking for is. It's probably on my desk upstairs. All right, these TDK power supplies are really easy to take apart. There's 5 screws that you have to remove. So 2 on the side, 1 on the back, and then 2 on the bottom. And yes, you got to remove the 2 on the bottom, even though they look like they're holding the PCB on. They're holding the case closed. If you don't remove these, you'll never get it open. It's also good that these are easy to open, because I have yet to meet one of these TDK power supplies now that hasn't leaked and isn't like a wet mess inside. Yeah, I ordered 3 and I got 30. So either I didn't notice that the order quantity was 10 for each one you ordered, or they made a mistake when they packed my order. Yeah, I got like, yeah, I am recapping this PSU. There is no way. It is like impossible for these TDK power supplies to be not leaking. Yeah, I could believe maybe the Aztec ones maybe are okay, but I have yet to meet one of these TDK power supplies like this that go in an LC that isn't like that the electrolyte is so fresh that it's wet. And this one will have an extra special nasty bonus of it. Ooh. Case in point, you see that sheen there? I don't think that's like some something on the edge of the PCB that's protecting it. I think that's, oh, maybe that's just the edge of the PCB. That might be dried electrolyte, though. Yeah, I believe this was an ex-smoker power supply, because I see the bottom side of this board kind of looks suspect. All right, so 5 screws to take it apart. There's thermal compound on that side, and there's usually tasty electrolyte. So I don't see any electrolyte on this side, but the telltale will be if I flip this over, and if, in fact, I should probably just go ahead and desolder the 2 power wires, because that's how certain I am that it needs recapped. Yeah, I see the electrolyte on the other side. So let me just go ahead and remove these 2 wires. Let's see. I think on the LCs, Adam, there was a TDK one, there was an Aztec one, and there was, I don't think it was Sony. I think Sony was one of the ones for the SE. It was... Actually, you know, maybe on the... oh, actually, you know where I could go? Is Console 5, because they have kits for all 3 power supplies for the LC series. LC series power supplies. So, for the LCs, there was Aztec, and it looks like Aztec made Dynacomp and TDK. Yeah, on the SC, it was like Aztec, Sony, and Apple brand. Ugh. Ew. I don't know that that's going to totally help. Yeah, it, I have not smelled the, Ode fish and chips. But yeah, I'm getting like a melange of other musty smells. Let's see here. All right. Get these wires off of here. Well, there we go. Okay, I didn't do too bad there, and they are, it's marked on the board. Oh yeah, this is, yep, there we go. There's the sheen under the screw. Yep, I think this is, it's going to be another leaker. Yeah, yeah, this is going to be more fish, less chips. Also, I guess I'm, no, actually, you know, I bet the cafeteria does have fish tomorrow. I didn't think to look at the menu. I probably won't eat the fish tomorrow if the cafeteria is serving fish. Although that partially depends on what fish it is. And how bad this board really smells. Yeah, yeah. Oh no, the Sony PSU and Adams 2SI failed. Oh no. Although those are also... The 2SI power supplies seem to be notoriously problematic. And although I thought the Sony power supplies were generally... Although I guess not guaranteed it won't fail after 30 years, but... I thought the Sony ones were generally better, but the 2SI does seem to be one of Apple's cost-conscious models, to put it nicely. Or, in other words, if they really called it what I thought they would have called it, it'd be called the Apple II LC. But I guess they couldn't sully the Macintosh 2 line with a LC model. Actually, you know, these caps usually don't leak. Well, okay, that might be factory flux, but that might be leakage. Anyways, Console 5, I ordered a cap kit for this from Console 5 just for time's sake. And I guess I wanted to see what their cap kits were like. So they send a replacement. Now, they do say that for that cap, they may send up to 220 microfarad. So it looks like they did up it. But it'll at least be size compatible. And it looks like it is a... Panasonic. And it looks like the other caps in here are Nichicon and Panasonic. I mean, the surface mount caps are probably Vishay or something. It's hard to tell. Yeah, okay. Oh, and Rubicon. All right. I'm just going to go ahead because this kit has all these components. Since I want to ultrasonically clean it. Actually, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and replace all the caps. Just be done with it. Yeah, actually, it was $10.95 for the cap kit, and it came with that big cap. Which, actually, if I was going to order the cap that I normally order for these LC power supplies, Mouser was up to like $5 for the one I usually order. Granted, I think when I order the cap to replace that one from Mouser, I order one that's actually 180 microfarad, so I order something that's closer to the original spec. But I think I did kind of double check to see what it would cost me for the 221, and it still was kind of seemingly half the cost of the cap kit from Console 5. And then that was nothing to say that for the rest of the caps. So, in the past, I've just ordered the caps and done them myself. But this one, I thought I'd try their cap kit. Just because sometimes you don't have time to go search Mouser yet again to find yet another substitute, because one more of the caps that you picked out for these TDK power supplies is now out of stock for a while, or discontinued or whatnot. So anyway, I thought I would try their cap kit. Let them deal with the component substitutions for once. Also, because I know people are curious as to whether it's really needed, I'll test these because these will actually fit my doodad. So this is like that 8.2. And it looks like it's actually fine. I could have left it. Maybe. It actually kind of looks like it might have... No, actually, maybe it didn't start to leak. But anyways, the Console 5 includes that cap, so I'll just replace it. Alright. And I'm going to strive to not desolder unnecessary components on this one. Because I have like four of those MOSFETs that I could replace the MOSFET on this with. Ooh, that smelled fishy. Oh yeah, that was a fish-forward desolder. Ooh, and in fact, I can even see what the board looks like under this one. Test the big one? Yeah, let me see if I can get it on the pads. I'll get it here in a moment. Come on, capacitor. I know you want to... Oh, there we go. I know you want to come off this board. There we go. Okay, so this one is the one right by the connector on the board for all the power rails. This one smelled real nice and fishy. And yet it is actually within spec, but it smelled fishy. All right, this one actually won't fit the meter. Hold on. Okay, so this is not going to be the most accurate test because the clip leads will introduce some error. But otherwise, I can't test it, so... So I'm going to use my Kaiweets alligator clip leads. Because even though I don't have a Kaiweets meter, I at least wanted clip leads from someplace I'd heard of, so I knew they were halfway decent. Yeah, actually, that's measuring good, so that one's fine. But since I pulled it off the board, though, it's getting replaced. So is the one that tested fine, but if I look at the board underneath it, it looks like it had been leaked some. Just kind of looking at the discoloration under it. Or maybe it didn't leak, but something near it did. Okay. If basically if I'm going to take the time to recap it, then usually I'm just going to recap it. I mean, I think I've got one of these supplies where I didn't recap the big cap. I mean, it works fine. Although, well, I say that and then realize that the one where that power supply is in the LC that heats every expansion card I put in it. Oh, you know, that's not true. I was able to put an Ethernet card in it, and it was fine. And I was able to put the Apple IIe cards in it, and it's fine. But it doesn't like the mystery upgrade card that I can't disclose. At least not until something happens. Well, yes, the CSR meter could be off too. I've got a better one on my wish list on Amazon, but well, it's on my wish list, not on my workbench. So, all right, this one is, well, testing within tolerance. It's 1,000 microfarad. It's testing at 939, so it's within spec. And yet, underneath it, it looks like it actually looks like it started to leak. So, that's the thing. These caps can test fine, but yet they've started leaking. So, yes, if you want to help me get the LCR meter or ESR meter, I think it's actually an ESR meter or an LCR meter or an ABCDF meter or whatever it is meter, and equivocating resemblance or an equivocating serious resonator meter. Yes, I know what it means. I'm being silly. Oh no. Thomas Armstrong just asked the ultimate question. And no, it had nothing to do, for those of you watching the replay and not seeing the live chat, it had nothing to do with the number 42. It had everything to do with a certain computer that Steve is repairs on and off. Two of the model numbers might share two of the numbers in his YouTube channel name. But he's tackling a disabled bunny. Oh. Oh, yeah, that's definitely, yeah, take care of that bunny. All right, well, that capacitor tests fine, and yet something on this board left residue under that capacitor. Yeah. So take care of that bun, Steve, and you can get to that Quadra 840 AV another time. Oh, that's good to hear that she's happy and eating well. Yes. All right, and oh, okay. Yeah, this capacitor looks like it might actually. Yeah, that one. This one's like a. Looks like it's a active. Might have just started leaking. So it's measuring 58. It's 56. Okay. Voltage loss 4%. So starting to see signs. All right, I think that is the next capacitor. If anyone's wondering what my secret is to removing the capacitors, So I take I look at where the capacitor is, kind of look at what's around it, and I take an educated guess as to which pads on the underside is actually the resistor. Although, usually one of the pads, at least on these supplies, is square. So if you can find a pad that under the solder looks like it's a square pad, that's probably one of the two legs. So if you kind of notice, for example, that pad there is squarish, yeah, that can help you find at least one of the two legs. And 943, and that's 1,000. Okay, well. Maybe I did finally get a TDK supply that... No, there is signs that capacitors were leaking, now that I look on the board. I don't think that's... Yeah, especially this one here, that small one that was there, which I think was like this little spindly one here. Yeah, that's definitely more than just factory flux there. That actually looks like it was starting to leak. So I think my statement that I have yet to meet one of these TDK supplies that didn't need recapped still holds, because it does look like I finally found one of the capacitors that was starting to leak. So while this one wasn't wet with electrolyte like the last few, it's showing signs that it was starting to leak. So maybe by recapping it now, before it had significant leakage, maybe that will have protected the MOSFET. Tester, yes. That one tests fine. Ooh, that's actually a ESR 0.06 ohms. Yeah, okay, that one's fine. Yeah, I'm not getting the smell of fish on these ones, so yeah. Which actually, I guess the other thing is that's good. That means this one should actually, the capacitors will hopefully go in fairly easily. I will clean the board lightly before I put the capacitors on, just to make sure that anything that was under the capacitors gets off the board. As well, ultrasonic cleaners do kind of start to get underneath things. I don't know how well they get under, like, especially large parts. So also, it just kind of seems silly to not take a moment and clean it. Actually, that one there kind of looks like it might have started to leak. Let's see, question, will the new ones still work 30 years from now? Well, they might, but then again, they might also need replaced in 30 years. But then again, I guess the other thing is, it's not like I'm going to be using this as a daily driver, so it might be slightly gentler on the capacitors, but then again, 30 years is a long time for the seals on these to stay intact. Yeah, that one's got a slightly high V loss, but I mean, I suspect in 30 years it will probably need recapped again. Or who knows, maybe we'll have the TDK reloaded board and... I guess if I really wanted to, and maybe on one of these LCs, if I get one where it's really bad, maybe I might, I know there's like a board you can get that'll let you put a little ATX power supply and power your LC with that. I might try one of those if I get one that's like really bad. It might actually be small enough to hide in the power supply case. Yeah, okay. So there's only one of these capacitors where if you asked me which one leaked, there's actually only one of them that I would say actually, I could say for sure leaked, and it was this little skinny, spindly one right here that came from right there. The rest of it, I don't know. So this one's surprisingly not as bad as the last few. But anyways, these TDKs will eventually leak, so... Alright, well, let me do a little cleaning under these capacitors. I am going to run this through the ultrasonic cleaner, just because of how dirty this board is. Yeah, I think the color of that is all I need to know that this was indeed an ex-smoker computer. At least at some point, because yeah, that's the right color. That is the right color for that. So yeah, I am going to ultrasonically clean this board, not only to make sure that it's nice and clean from any electrolyte that might have leaked, but also so that it's nice and clean from any nicotine that might be on this board, and tars and other whatnots. Yeah. Ugh. Gross. Yeah, actually, the one thing I need to order from Tindy, if you've stuck around this long, or I'm going to order one of the adapters, or actually, I think I'm going to order 2 of the adapters to use, like the Pico ATX in an SE. But I'm only going to order one of the Pico ATX power supplies because they're kind of pricey. I'm going to actually order it from the actual company that designed them and makes them to make sure I get one that's high quality. But there's I think a relatively new board. I think Deku Nukem designed it and sells them. It's the same person, company, potentially both, that's behind the really cool adapter that lets you plug a USB keyboard and mouse into both vintage Macs and vintage PCs. So it'll do like PS2, AT, serial mouse adapting plus ADB. It's really cool. Yeah. Given the amount of residue that I'm cleaning off this board, yeah. And the wonderful mark that I cleaned off the power switch, which I am almost convinced was tars of some sort. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna breathe in the smell. Ugh. But yeah, I think whoever owned this Mac had an expensive vice. Fortunately, it is cleaning off of this Mac. So let's see, where did I get this Mac? So I bought this Mac, I think it was from the eBay seller Rika commercial. I think they're an e-waste place out in California. I think I did pay a little more than I normally would for a computer like this. So I did kind of exceed the Steve price guide. But it was honestly what caught my eye and kind of why I wanted this one. I thought it was actually dirtier than it actually turned out to be. I kind of thought this was going to be my, like, Macintosh dirtiest LC cleaning series, which turned out to be wrong. But I have to admit, the fact that it looked like someone had upgraded it with an FPU back in the day honestly kind of caught my interest too, even though there was no hard drive in it. It still kind of caught my eye that, wait a minute, this is this FPU is like dated such that I think it was installed like, yeah, quite possibly at the dealer they bought it at. They had the dealer install it for them, which kind of caught my eye. And that with I thought it was going to be a dirty cleaning challenge. I paid a little more for it just for the challenge. And, well, turns out it's actually cleaning up quite nicely. The ultrasonic cleaner will probably take care of most of the rest of it, the scunge and grunge and whatnot. And, yeah, it's really not been the challenge I thought it would be. So, yeah, don't smoke. Oh, yeah, there's my my anti-smoking PSA. Quit now. If you're given the wonderful colors I was cleaning off of this board, I don't ugh. It's, I think that's all I need to say on that. Take a look at what I was cleaning off this board, and you can infer the rest. And now that my PSA is over, yeah, I mean, I guess I could, if I wanted to connect it, one of my grandmothers smoked for like ever, and it probably was at least partially responsible for the cancer she ultimately got. So, yeah. Also, I think I did a dumb and put that capacitor on backwards. Here I am giving my PSA and not paying attention to what I'm soldering. Yeah, I think that capacitor's on backwards. So no smoking also applies to the main filtering cap that I'm pretty sure having it on backwards would have most certainly caused issues. And while I could have put the other main cap that was on here back on, because it looks like it's actually fine. I mean, Bruce's guide says as much, that it usually is not doesn't... Yeah. Yeah, that's right. These TDK power supplies, they actually, yeah, it's the negative stripe gets marked. Yeah, there we go. Because I'm looking at the recapping picture and the polarity, and yeah, the negative, the stripe is... There we go. All right, that's correct, because it now matches the picture. I just looked at the circuit board to realize that it is marked, it's a negative sign that it's got on the board, not a positive sign. Maybe TDK was thinking that, 30 years down the road, when someone thinks they're going to repair our power supply, we're going to put the mark on the board here, and they'll think that's where the positive goes, and then they'll destroy it, and then they'll buy our cassette tapes. Which I'll say, well, that's a pretty interesting leap there, TDK, of... All right. So I'm just going to put these in and... Oh, I do need to pull up the Console 5 website, because there's one other substitution that they make due to availability of caps, and I think it has to do with this 8.2 ohm or 8.2 microfarad. Yep, they sub a 10 microfarad, because really that's just the cap to start the switching power supply. So let me make sure. I think there's only one 10 microfarad cap in the kit. Yep, that's 47. Actually, I can... Is the fuse okay? I'll double check that here in a moment. All right. Is the fuse okay? It should be. Yep, it's fine. I actually had this power supply powered up. Yeah, the 10 will work. It's just to start the switching power supply. It just needs to be a decent enough... In fact, actually, I think you could even get away with a fairly high ESR at that position. It just basically eventually needs to charge up enough so that the switching power supply can start, and then the switching power supply, once it starts off this capacitor, it will continue running off the power that it generates. Although I'm not a switching power supply expert, but that's the Justin Notes version of what I've read. That cap charges up and starts the circuit to then... Yeah, it starts the oscillator. And then once the oscillator starts, it'll keep running off the power it generates. Well, Adam, you missed... I think you missed the distinct lack of fishiness in this power supply. I think only like one or two of the caps actually had started to leak, which is interesting. I was more getting other smells, but yeah, I mean, it still needed to be recapped, because there were a couple that were starting to leak, but this one I could have probably used it a little while before recapping it. So, all right. So let me see. These are the 270s. Let me double check. So I should have two 270 25s, and then there's a 270 that's going to be somewhere closer to 10 volts, I think. Yep, there it is. Okay, so these are... Let me just go ahead and put both of these in. So that's one, and so I'm using the Bruce's recapping guide for the power supply to pictorially see where these capacitors go, but I'm also double checking the... I've double checked the notes on the Console 5 site for the substitutions they made, which I think I've already installed the two capacitors that they substituted values for. Now these two capacitors here in the original power supply were 25 volt rated, and Console 5 included 35 volt rated capacitors, which is actually good for longevity. So, and then well, if I can oh, hold please as I fight with the legs on this one. Okay, so the leads are the leads are a different style on these two capacitors, but it's fine. I mean, I might try to order capacitors for the next TDK I do and just do what I usually do. But at least I can say, though, if you order the Console 5 kit, it does seem as if you'll have a good experience. I mean, for anyone that wants to try this on their own, but they feel intimidated of trying to order all the capacitors from a vendor. Yeah, I think that the Console 5 kit will do you good. All right, so let's see there. That's the 270 10 volt one, which is substituted with a 16 volt one. Actually, there we go. Okay, might be a little tight fit, but it should fit down in there. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I had to bend the leg in just a little bit, but it actually fits in there quite nicely. There we go. It's like these holes are just slightly smaller than the... Or maybe the leg's splayed out on this capacitor. There we go. All right. And let's see here. Let me go ahead and get the 1000 microfarad 10 volts. So we've got one here and one here. And let's see, I think one here. There we go. Yes, I'm definitely getting, as I solder these capacitors, I'm definitely smelling a fishy smell. So there is electrolyte on this board. I don't know why I'm smelling it stronger now than I did when I desoldered, unless it has something to do with the fact that I tried to clean the board and it needs more cleaning. But the ultrasonic cleaner will get that. Let me check one of these joints. I cut the leg just a little closer than I like. There we go. Okay, let's see, I got 2 more capacitors to go. And let's see, that's the 47s. This should be the 56, and that one goes in here. And let me see, that one. Yep. And I'm kind of doing these one at a time because I don't like to bend the legs out too much in case I need to remove a cap. But I also like the caps to be nice and flush to the board. So I'm, well, trying to make sure I can do both. I would use a board holder, but the way these are built, there's things too close to the side of the board that I don't want to have to desolder to be able to get it into a board clamp. So, yeah, the metal frame that runs down 2 sides of it. All right, and last but not least, we have this capacitor here that goes by the power connector, and then this will be recapped. And then I think I'll put both this power supply and the logic board in the ultrasonic cleaner. Yeah, I'm actually tempted to ultrasonically clean it before I test it. Especially given the electrolyte smell I'm smelling. All right, there we go. Well, actually, the thing is, for these power supplies, I have to resolder the power connector on to test it, and then I have to desolder it. So I'm just going to put it, I'm going to ultrasonically clean it first. If I messed up, then I can probably redo one capacitor without really too much trouble cleaning it with isopropyl. But I want to ultrasonically clean this entire board. It's got nicotine grime on it. In fact, actually, I think when I ultrasonically clean it, I'm gonna put this plastic piece in with it. I'll clean the metal housing off with like Windex or something. But I think the plastic pieces that are in the power supply, I'm just gonna put them in the ultrasonic cleaner with the other parts. Just I'll let them air dry. I'll actually use my reflow oven to dry the circuit boards to make sure they're good and dry before I power them up. These plastic pieces, I'll air dry. I think they'll air dry fine. I don't want to accidentally melt them. But anyways, so the two plastic isolators, I'm going to put in the ultrasonic cleaner with the power supply board and the logic board. And actually, so I can, clean it with gasoline, yeah. It is kind of heavily dirty. I mean, if you saw Adam, I think you missed me cleaning the power switch on the power supply. It was gross. Okay, I'm gonna go and start the ultrasonic process. That way, I'll probably do a short or something on testing this. Shorts work for Retro Techie, so theoretically they should work for me too. Except I overproduce my shorts, and Retro Techie just, I think, films it and uploads it, and I put my usual production process to shorts even. I should probably call them, like, longs, because they take a long time to make. Not to be confused with Howie Long, that I think lives somewhere in this area, but I don't know where. Or at least they used to live somewhere in this area. All right. Now, of course, you're wondering, what are we going to do while that ultrasonically cleans? No, 1-Bit Fever Dreams. I think they should comment and subscribe to my channel. If you like interactive content. Nothing against shorts. Okay. Now, hopefully, I'm not going to mess opening this up. So now on my bench, I have a package here. And yes, I am trying to get the framing right for a reason. Hey, Sad Mac. All right, so now on the workbench, I have a package here from Garth Beagle. Well, I don't know. This object here might actually be, okay, maybe it's not cursed, but it might be, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the word. Not 100% reliable, but maybe I can fix it. Or use it to fix my other board. I'm just trying to open this without cutting myself. Or revealing Garth's address. Is this Naboo Jr.? No. This is a box of bubble wrap. Garth sent me a box of bubble wrap. Oh, how generous. They've got better bubble wrap in California. Oh, look, there's a little Proposition 65 warning right there. Yep. All right. Okay, so Garth sent me one of the standard Garth Beagle stickers. I've left the other sticker in here for a reason. So I think I posted it to Joe's Discord that I was looking for, because I think there's something wrong with my LC board. I don't know what. It kind of hates it when I put cool things in it. I was like, you know, I really could maybe use another LC. Good night, Francois. So I was like, I just posted on Joe's Discord, hey, if you happen to see an LC somewhere at a good price, I kind of could use another one. And Garth was like, well, I've got this LC board. It sometimes doesn't turn on, but when it turns on, it works fine. I was like, sure. That's promising. So here I have an LC board. It does look like Garth has recapped it. And actually, it looks like Garth ultrasonically cleaned it, too. And actually, I see something that warrants inspection. But anyways, yeah, it's just an LC board. No 2 or 3 or 4 or 475. Adam McGee, I just found an Apple IIc online and said, that's a good deal. And then it said, you bought this item. Yeah, I'm just waiting to find like an Apple IIc and say that's a good deal and go look at it and it like says, Adam McGee bought this item. Although that'd be really freaky and I'll let you know because that'd be like an serious breach of customer privacy, but it's like, yeah, I'm almost expecting it to like sometimes for websites to start suggesting Apple IIs to me just because like, we noticed that your friends like these computers. Now this is really interesting here. I can't tell what that is. And I'll pull the microscope out, but it looks like there's something between these legs and some of these. Under $75. Yeah, that's a good price for a 2C. Especially if it's a 4100 that hasn't been like discombobulated and reassembled from random parts that didn't belong, but well, we're not going there. Yeah, that is weird. I think it warrants inspection under a microscope. It could also be the cause of the problem of it not wanting to turn on reliably if it's if it's like somewhat conductive or what. And okay, one of these days, maybe for Macintosh, I'll clean my workbench so that I can actually not be tangled up on cables everywhere. But yeah, look at that. That, whoops. It does definitely look like... Okay, I know it might be hard to tell, but it... At least before I accidentally bumped the microphone the first time, it did look like there was actually something between those legs there. Actually, Jeremy, I think there are some eBay sellers that have good deals. I mean, it's not like all of eBay is... It's not like all of eBay's bad, and it's not like all of Mercari's good. Because I've actually seen some Macintoshes on Mercari, or Apples on Mercari, that are like way overpriced. And in some cases, they're even more overpriced than on eBay, if that makes any sense. Yeah, one... Oh, I think that really was something between those legs, because that isopropyl alcohol just kind of... flushed it away. I may put this through the ultrasonic cleaner again. You know, that might be what I need to do, is ultrasonically clean this board another round. Just to try to get... the board cleaner, because I think that might be the problem with this board. Or it's at least a problem with the board, because there definitely was something between those legs. But yeah, Jeremy, 140 for an Apple 3 or LC3. That's too much. Unless it has an Apple IIe card in it, and you know it's got an Apple IIe card in it, then that might actually be a pretty good deal. Or unless Steve Jobs autographed it, that would be a good deal. But I doubt he autographed an LC, because he wasn't working for Apple at the time, I don't think. Actually, I did notice on Mercari, I think it happened shortly before Joe's stream. Someone had actually listed a bunch of LC pizza boxes, and yeah, they were like 35 bucks. I mean, they were untested, but that actually was a pretty good deal. So, yeah, I think what I'm gonna do for this board... Oh, had a network card and FPU in it for 34 bucks. Yeah, I think I paid 50 for this one or something like that. I mean, I did make the seller an offer on it, and they accepted it because they had it listed higher. Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do before I do anything else to this board is I'm gonna put it through the ultrasonic cleaner. Although unfortunately, I've got the LC3. It just kicked off, so I'm gonna go swap the board over to the other side. I guess the other thing I thought I'll check is just to make sure. These caps are... Yep, that one's soldered. The thing is, there's no power circuit on these, so... there's no soft start circuit on them, so... Not really, not one of those to check. But there definitely was... this VLSI chip, I think, is like basically the main logic chip. And there was something between the legs. I think I'm gonna give it a round in the ultrasonic cleaner, and then I'll test it. Well, good luck with that, Adam. I am going to take a guess that you're probably going to find that I'm suspecting there's going to be a dead chip on it. Hopefully, it will be easy to replace. Although, then again, given your luck of buying computers that are just work, it wouldn't surprise me if they framed it because they thought it was useless, not because it was broken. But my guess is going to be you'll find there's a dead logic chip on it. They framed it because they couldn't bear to throw it away because it was their first computer, and it stopped working, and you're going to find there's like one chip that needs replaced. That's my guess. But hopefully it just fires up. I mean, without the REFA firing up. Because I kind of think it would be sad to realize that they framed it just because they thought it was useless and threw the case away, but maybe something happened to it. Although it's still sad they threw a Bell and Howell case away, but... Actually, you know... No, okay, that's where a switch would go. All right. Yeah, I'm just double checking just to make sure that all the caps were reinstalled. It does look like they were. Yep, Garth did a pretty thorough job. But that is what I see other people do when they get a board that someone else has reworked, is they double check. Because sometimes when you work on a whole bunch of these boards, you miss a capacitor. But it looks like Garth got them all. I think maybe it was just some of this grunge that was between these pins. Maybe that was the whole thing. I don't see anything that looks like solder balls, so... Well, actually, there is something between. I say that, and then there's a... Oh, I didn't... Hey, let me go flip the LC3 over, and then I'm going to flush under this chip with some contact cleaner, because I sure thought there was something more than just grunge between two of those pins, and I think I've just pushed it under the chip, so I'm going to try flushing it out. But let me flip these boards first so I can actually put them in to dry before I go to bed. Yes, I would never reflow boards while I'm not down here, but drying a circuit board where I'm only running the reflow oven at a low temperature is something that I will do. I actually have I've got it set up on a smart outlet so that it will, I can actually set it to power the oven off after the cycle would be done. But drying the boards, the temperature is set to such a low amount, and I have the oven set away from anything that would be flammable, that I have let those go while I was in the house, but not necessarily in the basement. But always making sure I set that smart outlet so that once the cycle would be done, that it just cuts power. Just as an added measure. All right, so let me see if I make a complete mess with contact cleaner. See if I happen to... Oh, this can's running low. Okay. Oh, yeah, I can take a look at that for you real quick, Jeremy. That card is... That is not an Apple IIe card. That is probably... My guess would be it's probably some sort of a network card. I don't see... Although the interesting thing is, if it was a network card, I would expect it to have a port on the back. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, on the picture on the back, that's definitely an RJ45 connector. That's just a network card, Jeremy. Nothing special. That card is not anything. Yeah, this LC3. This is not a $140 LC3, Jeremy. That's just a network card. I don't think there's anything special about it. I mean, even I didn't look. Even if it has, there's no FPU installed. Even if it did, that I'd hook you up with an FPU. if I have any. I usually have like some I've gotten cheap. Yeah, that's... Yeah, that's just a network card. It's just a standard dead bug free LC3 with a memory module that, quite honestly, is... I mean, it could be a 32 megabyte module. It certainly has enough chips on it, but those are cheap. There's no FPU, there's no added VRAM, and it's a standard network card. Yeah. That should be like a $50 tops. yeah, that nick was hard to see. They did not photograph that RJ45 port in the best of light. But yeah, basically the way I could tell it was a network card before I noticed the RJ45 port was the basically it didn't look like there was anything that looked like it was like a processor on the other side. So it's the wrong shape for the 2E card. So I knew it wasn't that, because I think the 2E card has an Apple, would have had an Apple part number on the back. And I don't think there's any logic chips on the back of it. Plus, it would have had a 39-pin connector, 3-row on the back, so you would have seen the pin connector on the back of the card. I didn't see anything that looked like they were vias for a processor, so I was pretty sure it wasn't an upgrade card. And then I thought, then I saw the pin arrangement near the connector and realized it looked like a PHY, or one of the magnetics for the RJ45 port. So, yeah, that is definitely a nothing special card. I mean, quite honestly, those network cards are common enough. You could probably manage, if you patient, a $40 one might even have a network card in it, because they're still plentiful. So, all right, well, it looks like I flushed out whatever was between those pins. I'm still going to run this through the ultrasonic cleaner, again, just to kind of make sure that everything is cleaned out from between the pins. But I don't see why I well, other than I don't have the adapter down here. You know, I could almost... Yeah, I guess I can just go run upstairs and grab my LC real quick. Unless I want to try... Well, I guess I could use... Oh, wait a minute. Okay, let me do this. So I'm not going to go up and get my LC. I don't need to go to that extreme. I just realized the LC3 uses the same VRAM as the LC. So I can borrow that module. The LC has enough memory on board to boot. And I do have the LC475 down here. So oh, except that no, that's not going to work, because the LC has the pogo pins for the speaker and fan. I don't need the fan, but it sure would be nice to have the speaker. Okay, let me go run upstairs real quick and grab the LC, because we're going to try powering that board up. I'll still give it another cycle through an ultrasonic cleaner, but I'll probably do it tomorrow, because I won't be able to dry it tonight. The LC3 beat it, because the LC3 had electrolyte and flux on it. All right. So here's the LC. You might remember this from last year. This was the no boot eBay find LC. It boots now. Well, it boots as long as I don't put the mystery upgrade card in it or knock the video cable out. If I knock the video cable out, it restarts the Mac. Which doesn't seem right. It might also say death chime. I don't remember. If I put the mystery upgrade card in it, it death chimes. You hear the speaker pop during that part of the boot process, and then it death chimes. It's totally fine though with my Apple IIe card. So yeah, I guess for comparison, if you ever see this card in an LC, especially if it's available for a song, this is the Apple IIe card. You're looking for that connector. Yes, they do need recapped. It's only 2 capacitors. But yeah, that is the Apple IIe card. That's the one you definitely want to look for if you happen to catch it in a cheap LC. Because you just, quite honestly, if you see that, you might have just paid for your LC reselling that card. And then some. Yep, yeah. So that would be the card you want to look out for in a $50 LC, because you just got a steal. You could sell that on eBay for, probably easily sell it for $200, and you just paid for your $50 LC. Or you keep it and you have an Apple IIe card. Yeah. So that would be the and also, if you have an Apple IIe card and you don't have a Y cable, then you need Y cable from jcm-one.com. It's an adapter doodle board that will let you plug in the drive and joystick to your Apple IIe card without having the actual Apple Y cable that would cost you an arm, a leg, a kidney, a spleen, and you get the idea. They're like... So if you thought the Apple IIe cards go for expensive amounts on eBay, you don't want to see how much the actual Y cables go for. It's ridiculous. Get you a Y cable from jcm-one.com, and you'll be able to use the Apple IIe card and not spend like hundreds of dollars on just the Y cable adapter. Because there actually was a company that was making replacements, but I think they finally stopped. I think Ron mentioned them in a Macintosh video, I think 2 years ago, but I think since then they stopped selling their cables. You know, I just realized between my VLSI chip, there's something funny there. You can kind of see it where 2 of those pins look slightly different. Then again, though, this board, though, I accidentally butchered it, so I'm not going to run it through the ultrasonic cleaner again, because I had a mishap with this capacitor. Not initially, but when I decided to replace it to make it look better. And I had a mishap here with this capacitor. This was the first board I recapped. And I also had a miscap when I thought, oh, well, I can have double the onboard memory if I just put the memory chips here. Yeah, I kind of did a little pad lifting there. Because I actually had one of the onboard memory chips die on this LC board. So, yeah, Mr. Polka Dots is, of course, reselling it for $600. I mean, you could probably, if you were patient enough, sell one for more, but that would probably require there to be no one else trying to sell an Apple IIe card for less. But yeah. Yes, I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna put my Apple IIe card in here. But I am gonna at least, I'm gonna put, I know I gotta put VRAM in it, and that's known good VRAM. And I just realized I left my monitor adapter upstairs because of course I did. Yes. Yep, I took it upstairs because, that's right, I usually leave one down here, but I took the adapter upstairs because I was trying to test a video card, a LC PDS video card, and I needed both adapters upstairs. So let me go grab one of them and bring it back downstairs. If anyone's curious, the LC PDS video card I have is... I think it needs repaired. I'm not exactly sure where to start on it. It's actually rare enough I might not even attempt it. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's how much it's worth not repaired, but I've only seen one appear on eBay. I mean, I think I will try one repair on that card to see if it fixes it. I'm gonna get a replacement RAM DAC chip for it. But I gotta get the right speed grade. I found some of the RAM DAC chips for the video card on eBay, but they're like the fastest speed grade. And I don't know if that video card will like the fastest RAM DAC, because that might violate some of the timings that card's expecting. I gotta look at the data sheet again and carefully inspect whether it's minimum or maximum timings. Because I think if it's a minimum timing number in the data sheet, then it'll be fine, and that may be what it is, and maybe I can try getting one of those and swapping it. Basically, the monitor's not able to sync to the video card. Interestingly enough, my capture card actually shows more than my multi-sync monitor, which is weird. Normally, it's the monitor shows more than the capture card, but actually my capture card will actually lock onto it briefly, so I can see it's trying to draw something to the screen, but it goes in and out of sync with the capture card, which is why I think it might just be the RAM DAC, because what I do see when I see the screen looks correct. So I'm thinking the RAM DAC, or maybe it's the crystal. But I don't want to do much repair because it's a rare card. Oh, and Jeremy just identified, late breaking news. Jonathan Goldwyn's eBay picture background is actually a shower curtain. I actually didn't realize that. All right, 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's weird. No sound. So this is just the LC with Garth's board. Oh, wait. It might still be doing its thing. Maybe it didn't power up because I didn't hear a chime. So I might need to ultrasonically clean it. Yeah, I didn't realize it was a shower curtain. I just thought it was like a tablecloth. right. Yeah, maybe I'll ultrasonically clean this board again to get any last grunge out from under the chips. And then troubleshoot it. Or I might start swapping parts with my board, since my board's the butchered one. Because this one that Garth sent me is in way better condition. The LC3 is probably fixed. This board, this is the LC board that Garth sent me because I was having trouble with my LC, so he sent me an LC board that also has quirks. I may just have to start swapping chips. Basically, the board he sent me, it doesn't always power up, but when it powers up, it works fine. I may just have to noodle the schematic. I'm also going to run it through the ultrasonic cleaner again because of some grunge that I saw between the VLSI chip. Oh, I've got it on the capture card. I'll switch it back to table cam until I hear a chime. You know, I guess maybe I could just double check voltages. All right. Let's see here. So that is 5 volts on 5.07, which is good. That's 12.09, and this should be negative 5.01. Yep, that looks good. Let's see here. Let's see, that's... Okay, so I think that's the 12 volts for the fan. Yeah, so that's good. Guess I can. Let me see. If I check voltages here at the power connector for the hard drive, 5 volts. Just that'll tell me that voltage is making it across the board. Yeah, that looks good. Nope, the LC does not need a battery to start. Interesting. So I see the 3 LEDs on the keyboard blink when you first power it up. And you don't get a chime. I may have to stare at the schematic for this board. Because something on this board is going to generate the equivalent of a power goods signal to let the chipset start to initialize. And I want to check that. No. I guess I will put the battery in. I mean, there could be something weird going on with this computer. I also might ask Garth if this motherboard had the big funky 2200 microfarad capacitor. Because I know people have replaced it with the cap that Apple started using later to no ill effect, but I mean, maybe if this board did have that, because Garth replaced it with the standard tantalum, but it does look like the solder is different there. Sound chip is important in the startup. Yeah. It is also possible that maybe something's wrong with the sound chip on this one. But the sound chip on my LC board's totally fine. Although it actually looks like Garth might have removed it and yeah, I think Garth, it looks like he's resoldered it because the solder looks pretty good on it. Although then again, I've not removed mine and the solder looks almost as good. Maybe he didn't remove it. Okay, he did put the sound chip in the correct orientation. I'm just comparing boards here real quick to make sure all these capacitors are in the correct orientation. Stripe, 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 yep. See, that's not one you replace. That's good. That's good. Let me power it off and leave it off for a moment. That. Okay. You know, something else I could do is just swap the ROMs. Although then again, if there was something wrong with the ROMs, I would expect it would never power up. Well, I guess I could... Yeah, I might need to... I think on this board I may just need to look at the schematic and find a couple points to check on an oscilloscope next time around. But I'm hoping, at least with the two LC boards, my original and the one Garth sent, I could get one that's working reliably. So yeah, I'll check with Garth. I'll see what capacitor was originally here at C9. If it was one of the 2200 microfarad ones, I may try putting that back. I mean, if this maybe the really early boards really needed that for some reason, and then later boards they just still used it, but it didn't need it, and then they stopped using it. I can't tell how old this board is. Well, actually, I guess I could look at date codes. So the one Garth sent me is, let's see, the CPU is 8 weeks earlier on the one Garth sent me. The VLSI chip is actually the same week, but interestingly enough, the number here is different on the two. Oh, I can't. Although maybe that's more of some sort of a serial line or lot number or something. Because the Apple part numbers are the same, so maybe that's a lot number or something. Let's see, the SCSI chips are... I don't know how to read the AMD date code of the time. Actually, 116. I bet that's 9116. Okay. So those came from the same week. Yep. I guess AMD was using a 3-digit date code at the time. Okay, so it does look like some of the components on the board Garth sent me are slightly older. But I can't tell if that's because it was actually an early run board or just because, yeah. Hawk and bus are a good place to start. Also, looking at the blue SCSI is a good place to start too, and no, it doesn't look like there's any bus activity. Let me just at least check, make sure there's no chips running hot. No. Nope. Okay, that all looks good. All right, so I think the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to run this board through the ultrasonic cleaner again. Just to make sure there's nothing underneath any of the chips that could be potentially conductive. I mean, I could almost, seems like I maybe should almost run mine through an ultrasonic cleaner again too, but I'm more afraid that I'll start losing chips if I do. It looks like there is something between the legs of my VLSI chip. And I just scraped one of them out, and I can't tell what it is. I don't know if that's what would cause a new bus card to just completely death chime the computer. Although maybe the schematic might answer that, because I do know about what pin the scunge on my VLSI chip's at, so I guess I could see what those pins are responsible for. Yeah, I don't feel like I can reveal what the mystery upgrade card is until something happens, so... So if you think I'm being intentionally vague, calling it a mystery upgrade card, then yes, I am being intentionally vague. I'm being super intentionally vague. Is 5 volts getting to the ICs? I do not know that, Thomas, because I don't know without pulling up a schematic, and I don't really want to do that until midnight. I don't know where 5 volt is on all the ICs. I mean, if someone wants to tell me where 5 volts is on the sound chip, that would be the most logical. I can't tell just by looking at the pins which is 5 volts. I mean, I do know 5 volts is getting to the SCSI power connector. So I do know 5 volts is getting here and 12 volts. I know 12 volts is getting the fan because I checked. The voltages are good at the power connector. No chips are getting hot. But without knowing a pin that is definitely 5 volts, I don't know if power is getting like all the way over to this side of the board. I mean, Garth did say it would occasionally power up, but quite honestly, I'm not having any luck getting it to power up. So, yeah. All right, I think that's where this LC board's going to end for the evening. I'm going to put my 2E card in the anti-static bag. For safekeeping, I'll put my LC board on top of the anti-static bag, and I'll find one somewhere. Oh, actually, no, that's not one. I'll find a spare anti-static bag at my earliest convenience, and I'll put my board in one. The Apple IIe board is definitely the more valuable board to protect. It's a West Coaster. It's a 512 kV RAM. It's a known working VRAM module. So there's no need to pull it out. Oh, Adam's artwork computer is fully working now. Well, so did it actually need any repairs other than de-squishing that one component that was beside the oscillator? Well, you know, one thing I could do, because I don't know when Garth tested this, if he tested it with the drives plugged in. Let me unplug drives and try to power it up. No, that wasn't it. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll have to, I mean, I hear a speaker pop when I power it on and off, but... yeah, it's not a chime. It's just like a pop. Well, maybe shipping it made it more consistent. I don't know. Resolder the composite jack. Yeah, that was an easy fix. Okay, so I'm gonna ultrasonically clean this board that Garth sent me, and I'll continue debugging it later after I've done that. I'm not sure exactly what's up with it. I want to make sure there's nothing under these chips. And then I think the next thing I'll do after that is I'll figure out where the 5 volts, where the voltages are on the major ICs. And probably start with troubleshooting there, just making sure that the chips are getting proper voltages on the far side of the board. Starting with like the sound and, well, okay, the processor is kind of a fine pitch. But at least make sure that everything else around... I don't know that I've got multimeter probes fine enough for that, but at least make sure the other components... Because I think if everything around it's getting 5 volts, then the processor probably is too. I mean, I guess if it really came down to it and I'm still scratching my head, I could always try to find the best multimeter leads I have and check it too, but... I just want to realized that I'm going to lose my screws for my TDK power supply if I don't rescue them. There we go. All right. So I guess tonight's stream got the LC3 and power supply recapped. They're done in the ultrasonic cleaner, or at least I'm going to check them. They may need a little bit more because sometimes the flux doesn't come off in 10 minutes. And then I'll let those boards dry. I'll test those sometime in the future. Maybe might be the first thing I do next week's stream. Okay, yeah, I may do a short on that because I might want to not wait to test them. And then I'll figure out some places to probe voltage on this LC board, but I'll put it through the ultrasonic cleaner just one more time. Just because there was something between some of the pins on the VLSI chip. I mean, I flushed it with contact cleaner pretty good, but I just want to make sure it's gone, so I'll ultrasonically clean it again. It'll etch the markings off the oscillators pretty much the rest of the way, but other than that, shouldn't do any harm. And yeah, probably next time I might continue with maybe this LC board, just trying to figure out what's wrong with it. No, that's right. No, next week, I did have one thing I wanted to do before Macintosh. That's right. Because I recently got some things. So maybe I might show off the LC3 next week. But the one thing I did want to do is I have some video cards here. So I have a stack of video cards. One of these is the video card that I had in my Emerson 386 that I discovered the text was wibbly wobbly on. One of these is the card that I'd bought off eBay that had a sync but no image. The eBay seller did refund it. They told me to recycle it, please. So I'm going to recycle it by probably stealing parts off of it. And then I have two other video cards I bought off eBay as an untested lot. They're supposedly not working for parts. We'll take a look at these. And I'm hoping that maybe I might be able to at least make one working video card, if not two, out of this stack. And I'd kind of like to do that sooner rather than later because I would like to be able to finish shooting the B-roll for a video. And one of those video cards failing is putting a crinkle in that plan. So I think that's actually the main thing I want to do next week is take a look at that stack of cards so that I can maybe get one of them working and finish doing the B-roll for that video. I have a contingency plan if I can't, but yeah, I'd like to kind of get that done. And then on Dave's stream Sunday, I'm thinking, even though since I'll be joining late, that still might give me enough time to actually take a look at this monitor here and an analog board for it that Adam sent me. I'm thinking I may give that a try Sunday because I think I'll be able to join with enough time to at least pull the analog board that's in that one out, put the one Adam sent me in, and see what happens. There may be sparks. There may be nothing happening, but I'd kind of like to give that a try. It's about time to do that. But anyways, yes, it is now time to draw this stream to an end. I am glad everyone has stuck around. Had good participation in the chat. Got the LC3 hopefully straightened out and whatnot. And with that, let me see if I can't get my finger on the correct button here. So, oh, and Adam's telling me that the board worked before he pulled it out. So, yeah, good purchase. Mark another one on the Adam bought a computer that just worked. So glad that one worked, Adam. I'm sure you'll turn it into a more fitting Apple II than one framed and hung on a wall. Because why hang it on the wall when you can actually use it? Anyways, take care. I hope to see y'all next time. And yes, or hope to see you Sunday on Dave's stream. So good night. Take care. See you next time. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.